Hey, we've been talking about Donald Trump's strange, yet at the same time somewhat predictable behavior and statements during interviews lately. And it's probably not that we're noticing this behavior from Trump during these recent interviews because he's getting weirder or more clueless than usual. I think it's that he did a string of interviews after not doing interviews for a little while, and we just have more material right now. It's been sort of a failed, disgraceful, shameful 100-day publicity tour that has completely backfired and imploded for Donald Trump. To sum it up, if you've missed, maybe you missed the Monday show or the Tuesday show this week, in one interview, Donald Trump handed copies of a map to reporters that came to his to the Oval Office, which showed his electoral victory, and said something to them like, "Pretty good, right?" He also said very strange things about the Civil War, as we talked about yesterday, including that former President Andrew Jackson could have stopped the Civil War, even though Jackson died 16 years before the Civil War. He was totally clueless about what was in the new Republican health care bill, claiming that, quote, everything is fixed. He praised multiple murderous authoritarian figures, including Kim Jong-un, as a smart cookie. He had a friendly conversation with admitted mass murderer, Filipino President Rodrigo Duterte, during which he invited him to come to the White House. Duterte has since rejected that invitation, by the way. And most recently, Donald Trump abruptly and awkwardly ended an interview. He was asked about those Obama wiretapped me claims, which, of course, we now know to be totally bogus. He didn't like being asked about that. Check this out.
I just wanted to find out, though, you're the president of the United States. You said he was sick and bad because he had tapped you.
You can take any way. You can take it any way you want.
But I'm asking you because you don't want it to be fake news. I want to hear it from President Trump.
You don't have to ask me.
Why not?
Because I have my own opinions. You can have your own opinions.
But I want to know your opinions. You're the president of the United States.
It's enough. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I mean, that's gold right there.
Yeah, I think at this point, Donald Trump realizes that there's downsides to not being a politician. So because he's someone that doesn't speak very deliberately and goes off the cuff a lot,
right,
it's coming back to bite him at this point.
Yeah, what was presented as this great strength of Donald Trump is clearly not serving him super well, at least in some ways. And I love that thing where people are being interviewed, right? So the interview is to figure out what you think. And when they don't want to answer a question, they say, listen, it doesn't matter what I think. You think whatever you want to think about it. Well, I'm interviewing you about your opinion. That's sort of why we're here. It's such a laughably flaccid critique when they say, listen, it doesn't matter what I think. Yeah, we're here because we want to know what you think.
And obviously, John Dickerson's opinion does matter a little bit because he has a show, but it's not like he's in charge of the entire federal government.
No, it's not like investigations using taxpayer money might be started because John Dickerson tweets that Obama wiretapped someone. We make jokes regularly on the show about Trump, but I say this with complete sincerity and without any trace of cynicism at all. And I know at this point it almost sounds cliche, but truly, there seems to be something significantly psychologically and or cognitively wrong with the president of the United States. I don't know how anyone can see this behavior at this point and think this is a balanced individual. But the news is that progressives aren't the only ones who have been disturbed by Donald Trump's recent round of interviews. White House officials have said that this string of interviews that Donald Trump did around the 100-day mark, it didn't represent some broader strategy. Like from the outside, we saw, oh, he's doing a Reuters interview and all these different interviews. This must be part of some plan to do something. And White House officials are saying, no, it wasn't actually part of some broader plan. Maybe they're lying because it didn't go well. Maybe initially it was part of a broader plan, and now they're saying that because it didn't really go well. But the key point is that White House staffers are realizing that Donald Trump is coming off like a total lunatic here. One White House staffer who spoke on the condition of anonymity said, the interviews were not helpful to us. There was no point to do all of them. Now that I do buy, because this has not gone well for the administration. Trump's failures have heavily outweighed his accomplishments. He doesn't know what he's doing, and the interviews have certainly not helped anything at all. But one Republican staffer went even further, Pat, and said he just seemed to go crazy. And again, I don't think that Trump actually just went crazy. I think it's that the fact that he chose to do a string of interviews just exposed how unbalanced he is.
It also seems like he bought into the idea that the first 100 days is incredibly important, and he didn't have to do that. I mean, that's kind of an arbitrary measure, but he seems to have taken a drink from the Kool-Aid.
He initially said the 100 days we're going to accomplish all this stuff. And then as we were getting to the end of the 100 days, he sort of backed off of it and said, 100 days? I mean, 100 days? I'm here for years. 100 days doesn't really even matter that much. So yeah, it's one of these self-inflicted wounds where he's the one who initially talked about everything he was going to accomplish in the first 100 days. It imploded, just countless failures, which I won't even list for you right now. And now the staffers are noticing, like, hey, this guy's coming off like the madman that he is, and these interviews are a really bad idea.